All right, today what we're going to be learning about is the vertex form of a quadratic equation. So right in front of me we have the vertex form, and what we're actually do, all of these things, and they're kind of like the attributes of a vertex form here, they're actually all transformations that we apply to the parent function y equals x squared. So we're doing this plus or minus the a, the minus h, and the x are all transformations. So what that means is you're either going to be moving them left or right, up or down, you're going to be shrinking or expanding them, or you're going to be doing reflections. So all things that you learned last year in geometry, but into an actual function now. So first off, we're going to figure out what each of these items actually does or represents, and then we're going to practice them and do a couple examples. So the first one is that plus or minus here. So plus or minus, all right, when you see this is all about reflections. All right, so when it is a positive number there is no reflection. If it is a negative number, all right, that means there is a reflection. Over the x-axis. Okay? The second thing, okay, is your a value here. Okay? That is your vertical stretch or shrink. So if a is greater than 1, so it's number like 2, 5, 3 halves, etc., it's going to be a stretch, which means that your graph gets a little bit skinnier. It's stretched upwards. If a is less than 1, okay, but it has to be greater than 0, right, it's going to be a shrink. So if it's 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, etc., you're shrinking it, which just makes it a little bit wider. Up next, we have this, the H, all right, that represents your horizontal shift. So if it's x minus h, all right, that is actually you moving to the right, h units. If it's x plus h, you're moving to the left, h units. And finally, we have the k value here at the end. That is your vertical shift. If it is plus k, you're moving up k units, and if it's negative k, you're going to be moving down k units. So just kind of dive into this a little bit more here. So the first one, with those reflections, all right, some other things with reflections. If it's positive, all right, your quadratic or your parabola is going to be opening up. So it would look like this. If it's negative, it opens down. Something of that sort. For your vertical stretch or shrink, so when we said it was when a is greater than 1, that is a stretch. So to me, what it does, it makes the graph a little skinnier. So usually it looks something like this, just a little bit more skinny, not as kind of rounded. When it is less than 1, that is your shrink. That's when it makes the graph a little wider. Such like that, so it's a little bit more stretched out horizontally rather than vertically. For your horizontal shift here, for example, if it says it is x minus 2 in that parenthesis, all right, that means you were going to the right 2 units. If it said x plus 2, that means we're going to go to the left 2 units. kind of counteractive of what you really think it is sometimes. And the k, if it says this y equals x squared, and it has a +2 at the end there, all right, that means you're going to be going up 2. If it said something of this sort, where it said -2, you're going to go down. Whoops, sorry guys. Down 2. Just as some examples there. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at equations. We're going to identify all of these things here. So you're going to identify actually 5 different things. We're actually going to identify the vertex. Now to figure out what the vertex here, since this is called vertex form, this is going to be crucial. Your vertex is going to be your h, k value. Okay, so this is crucial. You get your vertex, all right. What the heck? Sorry guys, this is just not working out there for a second. All right, you get your vertex, okay, from that h and k value. So we're going to do some examples here. So here's our function. This is y equals -2, parenthesis, x plus 5 squared minus 8. And we're going to identify all 3 things. So first off is there a reflection? Yes, there's a reflection because it says -2. So I would say there's a reflection over the x-axis in this problem. Up next, you look for your vertical stretch or shrink. So we have the number 2 here. Okay, so 2 is greater than 1, so we would say this is going to be a stretch. And we also tell by what factor, so we would say by 2. All right, up next we have the horizontal movement. So since it says +5, right, that actually means you're going to go to the left 5. And the -8 is your vertical, and that says -8, so you're going to be going down 8. So using this left 5, down 8, you're going to get your vertex. So our vertex, if we're going left 5, would be -5. And since we go down 8, it'd be -8. So our vertex would be -5, -8. So we've identified all of the transformations happening to that. For the second example, it says you're actually given all the transformations. We're going to write the function here. So this one says there's going to be no reflection. It's going to be a shrink of 1/4. We're going to go to the right 3 and up 1. So I'm going to say y equals. Since there is no reflection, it's going to be a positive number. Since it has a shrink of 1/4, my a value is going to be 1/4, parenthesis. Since they're going to the right 3, it'd be x minus 3 squared. And up 1 would be positive 1. All right, for example 3 here, again, we're just identifying the transformations that are happening. So it says y plus 3 equals 5 minus 1/2 x squared. Now the issue here is it doesn't look like our 2 previous problems. It's not in the correct order here. We've got this plus 3 on this side here. Okay, we have the 5 out in front when it needs to be kind of in different locations. So I'm going to rewrite this. What I'm going to do first here is I'm going to move the 5 to the back here. So it's going to be y plus 3 equals -1/2 x squared plus 5. Because you want that vertical shift to be at the very, very end of your equation. Up next, I'm going to subtract the 3 over. So I get y equals -1/2 x squared plus 2. From here, I can kind of dive into what's happening. So we notice we have a negative, which means there's going to be a reflection. Over the x-axis. Since it's a 1/2, that's going to be a shrink of 1/2. Now you notice there's no number with the x in a parenthesis. There's actually no parenthesis at all. So when there's no number, that's just 0, right? So we're not moving left to right and everything, so that's not going to change. So there's no horizontal shift here. And it says plus 2, so we're going to be going up 2. And that would be